Fungi in the food industry, the next protein revolution. Did you know that fungi could replace meat, dairy, and even eggs without sacrificing taste, texture, or nutrition? Sounds crazy, right? But here's the kicker. The food industry's next big protein revolution isn't coming from a lab-grown steak or a field of soybeans. It's coming from mushrooms, mycelium, and fungal fermentation. The same biological kingdom that gave us penicillin and blue cheese is now leading the charge toward a food future that's sustainable, efficient, and shockingly delicious. Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you'll see why fungi are quietly becoming the backbone of the most disruptive food technologies on the planet. Let's start with one of the biggest names shaking up the alternative protein world: mycelium-based meat. Mycelium, the root-like structure of fungi, grows rapidly, requires minimal water, and can be trained to mimic the texture of chicken, steak, or even seafood. And the result? Meat alternatives so realistic, chefs are using them in fine dining dishes without ever telling the guests it's not animal-based. But here's the twist. Unlike plant-based meats that rely on processed soy or pea protein isolates, mycelium is whole food, minimally processed, and naturally nutrient-dense. Packed with protein, fiber, and essential minerals, it's not just a meat replacement, it's arguably better than meat. And with companies now growing it vertically in warehouses using just agricultural waste and a bit of moisture, it's a sustainable solution that scales like tech. Then there's fermented fungi protein, a rising star that's turning the food science world upside down. Take a species like Fusarium venenatum. It might sound intimidating, but it's the fungus behind corn, one of the oldest and most trusted meat substitutes in Europe. This microorganism is cultivated in massive fermentation tanks, much like brewing beer, and it turns simple sugars into complete protein, with all 9 essential amino acids. What makes this so revolutionary is the efficiency. Compared to raising livestock, fungi fermentation uses 90% less land and water, and produces a fraction of the emissions. Plus, the result is incredibly consistent, safe, and versatile. It doesn't just taste like meat, it functions like it in cooking. Stir-fry it, bake it, grill it, you name it. For food companies, this is a goldmine of versatility. For the planet, it's a sigh of relief. Let's talk eggs. That's right, fungi are now replacing eggs in baking, and they're doing it better than you'd expect. Certain strains of filamentous fungi are being used to create egg-like textures that bind, emulsify, and add moisture just like a real egg does. But here's the kicker. No cholesterol, no allergens, no animal cruelty. For large-scale bakeries and food manufacturers, this means lower costs, longer shelf life, and access to entirely new markets like vegans and those with egg allergies. The magic lies in how fungi behave under heat and pressure. They gel, fluff, and rise, offering the perfect structure for cakes, cookies, and breads, all without cracking a single shell. In a world looking for clean labels and ethical ingredients, fungi-based eggs are quickly becoming the future of food science. Now, imagine cheese, but without the cow. Fungal fermentation is cracking the dairy code too. Scientists are using precision fermentation and mycoprotein to replicate the casein and whey proteins found in milk. These are the very proteins responsible for the melt, stretch, and tanginess of cheese. And now, fungi can create them without any animals involved. Think mozzarella that melts like magic on a pizza, or creamy brie that rivals the French originals, all crafted in a lab using fungal microbes. And if you're wondering about nutrition, these dairy-free cheeses are not only rich in protein and calcium, but also easier to digest and free from hormones or antibiotics. For lactose-intolerant cheese lovers, this is the holy grail. The best part? Many of these fungal strains are already recognized as safe by food regulators, speeding up their journey from lab to plate. If that wasn't enough, fungi are also entering the world of flavor and umami enhancement. That rich, savory fifth taste that makes meat so satisfying? Fungi have it in spades. Companies are now using mushroom extracts to naturally boost flavor in everything from soups to sauces to snacks. This means less reliance on salt, artificial additives, or meat-based stocks, and more flavor with fewer health risks. One major player in this space is shiitake fermentation, which can replicate the complexity of slow-cooked broths or grilled meat without ever touching an animal. For food developers, that's a flavor weapon, and for consumers, it's a way to eat better without sacrificing taste. Imagine a bag of chips that tastes like smoked barbecue ribs but is entirely vegan and low sodium. That's fungi in action. Fungi are also playing a major role in food preservation and packaging. Yes, you heard that right. Scientists are exploring mycelium-based materials that don't just preserve food, but also replace plastic entirely. Mycelium can be grown into packaging molds that are biodegradable, durable, and even edible in some cases. And when used in preservation, certain fungi release natural antimicrobials that can extend shelf life without synthetic preservatives. This isn't some far-off futuristic vision. Companies are already using these materials for eco-packaging chocolate, cheese, and produce. So, not only is your food becoming more sustainable, but the packaging it comes in might soon disappear naturally, without adding to landfills or ocean waste. This is circular food thinking at its finest. Here's something most people overlook: fungi's role in soil regeneration and agricultural support. Mycorrhizal fungi create vast underground networks that help plants absorb nutrients, resist disease, and thrive without chemical fertilizers. These fungal systems are being harnessed to grow the raw ingredients of the future food supply, from mushrooms to vegetables to grains. In fact, regenerative agriculture practices now often rely on fungi to boost crop yields while restoring depleted soils. That's food production that heals the planet instead of harming it. It also means fungi aren't just replacing meat on your plate. They're rebuilding the ground it grows from. When we talk about the food revolution, we're really talking about a fungal revolution from root to table. And here's where things really get mind-blowing. NASA and deep space scientists are studying fungi as the key to feeding humans on Mars. Why? Because fungi grow fast, require little space, and can thrive in extreme environments. They can turn waste into food, provide nutrients in compact forms, and even recycle air and water through bio-integrated systems. That means the same mycelium that makes your vegan burger juicy today could be what keeps astronauts alive on a future moon base. We're literally exploring the idea that fungi could be humanity's survival toolkit beyond Earth. If it's good enough for space, it's good enough for your plate. So the next time someone says mushrooms are just pizza toppings, hit pause and remind them, fungi are changing everything. From protein-rich meat alternatives to dairy-free cheese, egg-free baking, natural preservatives, biodegradable packaging, and even interstellar nutrition. Fungi are not just part of the food industry, they are the next industry. Quiet, sustainable, scalable, and shockingly powerful, the fungal kingdom is leading a protein revolution that's faster, cleaner, and smarter than anything we've seen before. If this opened your eyes to the future of food, make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video with someone who still thinks protein only comes from animals. The food revolution is already here, and it's growing underground. It's